What is going on, Governor? It's Chisgule here, and today we're going to do some math around just how crazy expensive these chests over here are. So strap yourselves in. This is going to be a fun comparison to how much money you would spend to get some gear buying this with gems versus just crafting it on your own. So let's get right into this one. I wanted to do some math to say, gosh, if we can buy two of these epic chests every week, and that's 2,400 gems a week, what sort of gear are you going to get, and how much of an advantage do you really get over other players? And so we did some quick math evaluating some of the very best epic gear and benchmarking against what you can find in the store. That includes things like the Golden Age, which have something like cool 18% of stats on them, comparing to things like the Iset's Sufferance Gloves, which have a solid 6% of stats, and even going as crazy as looking at this sickle, which 160 epic materials to get 10% gathering. That seems a little over the top for me, but let's go there. So there are different numbers of materials required to make some of the different gear. That's 60, 90, 100, and 160, which for the sickle is the max there, for the amount of gear you would need. Now, if you're going to just buy that gear with gems, right? Like, what would that look like? For 60 epic chests, we're talking about 72,000 gems, which is about $300 worth of gems. If you look at the 90, and we can show that again. This is an item that's like 60 materials. An item that would be 90 materials. This is a good example. Karok's Humility. We actually can show exactly where that comes from in a moment and how you get it. But this is like $400 plus worth of gems at 108,000 gems required in order to buy all the VIP chests for this. At 100 is the Golden Age, and this might be one of the better things you could get. That's 120,000 gems. And of course, the absolutely ridiculous sickle. Not that I would recommend it, but it'd be like 192,000 gems. So like $800 worth of gear if you were spending gems and just buying it from the VIP shop in order to get this. That, of course, doesn't account for all the other goodies you get in bundles. There is a lot of other good stuff you get in those bundles that helps you win events and get more legendary commander sculptures. If we're going to convert this into gray materials, so if you were just like creating these materials from scratch, we're talking about 3,840 for Iset's Sufferance, which translates into 48 days worth of crafting in order to get these gloves. We're talking about 5,760 gray materials for something like the Karok's Humility, which is an epic pant that actually is pretty good for infantry, or garrison defense. That's 72 days worth of materials there. So we're looking at now a solid 2+ months. And we start to approach 3 months worth of materials for something like Golden Age. And, you know, that's just from crafting, I guess producing. That doesn't include what you get in the daily shops. That could go down from your daily quest completions. And this ridiculous piece of jewelry, 128 days worth of gray materials. So we're looking at a solid 4 months to get 10% gathering. This is a piece you get way, 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 way later on, if at all. Now, in terms of weeks of VIP, we're talking about 30 weeks of VIP and buying those chests to get one piece of gear, and that's the simplest piece of gear to craft. The most expensive piece of gear to craft that I think is reasonable would be the Golden Age, and that would take a solid 50 weeks worth of VIP. So, like, how far ahead are you getting from a free-to-play? Really? I mean, yeah, it's some edge, but it is only some edge. When we compare some of these epics to the equivalent that you could get at a blue tier. And you could get this blue tier gear much faster. How much different is this really? Looking at the Golden Age, you're getting 18% of stats. Your comparison point would be the Staff of the Lost for 13% of stats. Yes, Staff of the Lost is good and Golden Age is better, but like, sure, the 5% makes a big deal. However, I would argue Staff of the Lost, you're way more likely to get the special talent on anyways. And if you get the special talent, I'm pretty sure you're getting an extra 5% of stats. We can even confirm that real quick. Okay, a little less than 5%. You're getting 4% of extra stats. So, yeah, this is like almost as good. We're talking about 1% of stat points different, assuming you got a Golden Age and you didn't get the special talent, versus actually having the special talent over here. Pretty darn close. Is that really worth all those gems? Is it really? The last comparison we'll sort of make here for gear is the Karak Ceremony pants, Karak's Humility. This has a solid 10% of stats, which is really quite good if what you've got is a garrison where you're going to have cavalry and infantry and a whole bunch of stuff piling in. Typically, that means the Ark of Osiris. I think this would actually be pretty good. With that said, we're talking about 10% of stats versus something you could get over here and pick up a solid 6% really easily, plus the experience gain. Plus, it's really easy to get the special talent on these because you're going to get a ton of these from Sunset Canyon. So you craft it, destroy it until you get that special talent. So really, this is like 8% of stats. This is 10% of stats. We're talking about a 2% difference here. Really not all that big a deal. Plus, this comes with the experience gain. So all in all, I don't think that the VIP chests harm free-to-play. I think it actually is fine. It enables the spenders who want to go ham to go and buy these things. And I will point out that, like, look, once you get your commander expertised, like, this is how you differentiate your commander, is with gear. This is why I'm so focused on gear, and I kind of obsess about it, and I have a lot of fun with it. Besides the fact that I played that game Shop Titans for like a small eternity. Anyways, this is why I've been so obsessed with gear and crafting. And well, who's my best commander to show off? Oh, it's definitely Khan. This is definitely my best one right over here. We're so focused on gear because this is the edge after you expertise a commander, which we think is pretty strong. So I think that the system into the game is actually really quite good. It gives something to strive for at the top end, while really taking such a long time, even if you're paying your way to it, that yes, you get edge, but it's not a catastrophic edge, it's incremental. This gives enough reason for your bigger spenders to go in, because there is some edge there, but it's not such a big edge that, yeah, you know, you're gonna fall catastrophically far behind. And when I think about how I might be purchasing something like that, I would use it to accelerate the last part of crafting something in order to hit some sort of timeline, like, you know, an Ark of Osiris League matchup, rather than trying to do that just like every single week. I don't know, I might do it every week because I'm a content creator, and so like the way I invest in this game is just weird. It's so I can show cool stuff. So hopefully you found this video entertaining about gear. Overall, I think the system is pretty good, actually. It's quite balanced, and if I just get a quick look, by the way, as promised, here was our run at Solanpur, the 5th boss in the Karak ceremony. We'll show how you summon him in a second. This was the loot that showed up. So what I'll do is I'll just count off the number of players that actually pulled down Karak's Humility. And I do believe this is a full pattern unlock, not a piece of the pattern. You'd see a little puzzle piece in the corner if it was just a part of the pattern. But roughly 1 in 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 2, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We got 3, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. We got 4, 25, 26. We got 5, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So, what was it? Like 5 or 6 out of 34, which, like, it's a pretty low drop rate. It's a pretty low drop rate and is only giving a little edge if you actually craft the darn thing. So, your rally leaders and an Ark of Osiris League team want to have these things, but just getting your baseline gear in place is definitely the play. Like, yeah, as a rally leader, I've really strove to get, like, one great set on a couple types, a cavalry set, an infantry set, an archer set, but at the cost of not going and, like, putting just the green gear on my Minamoto, and I've got some gear on Saladin, but, like, I gotta go back and get some of those basic gains so that I can send more marches around the field with good gear. So again, I think the system's pretty good. If you found this video entertaining, please do like and subscribe. It means a lot to me as a content creator. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.